taking their activism to the street this week, completely blocking traffic on the I-495 Beltway in Montgomery County, Maryland, and demanding that President Biden declare a climate emergency. Now, that protest prevented a parolee from getting to work. Watch.
No, I'm about to get locked up for 54 years for my parole if I don't make my job. And y'all are so inconsiderate. 495. Yo.
We're live streaming right now.
Come on, man. One lane. I'm asking one lane before I go to prison, bro. One lane before
Now, that parolee was arrested after he became agitated and tried to physically remove, allegedly, some of the protesters. Richard, you and I were talking offline. The restrictions that these parolees are under. There is no room for mistakes, inadvertence, being late. We've both seen people return to prison for much less than showing up late to the job. There is honor in him trying to comply with the, at times, draconian restrictions. There is no honor in blocking the freeway and blocking people from getting to work.
No, I believe in the First Amendment protest, but I actually agree with you here. I actually wrote a story about this for Forbes I had a roundtable of returning citizens and really zeroing in on some of the problems they face once they've already sort of done their time. A lot of them face problems with finding housing because nobody wants to give a returning citizen housing because you have to check that I was once a felon. They have a hard time finding jobs. And on top of that, many of them, because they have to deal with parole officers, it's really hard. And they face these unsurmountable odds trying to reintegrate to society. And I think, you know, they need a little bit more grace, and the system has no grace to give them.
That's right. The social stigma is absolutely real of being a convict. But Harris, the point remains that here now, we don't know the outcome actually for this gentleman. We know that he was arrested. We don't know whether we know actually he didn't make it to work. We don't know now. He might be facing 54 years. And that other guy remains stalwart. He said, no, until Biden declares an emergency, I will not budge.
So I see this, I won't say differently, but kind of turned on its head a little bit. What if you're in the back of that pack, that traffic pack, and you're having a medical emergency? Like there are a lot of things that could be going on besides one guy that happens to get upset enough to be out in the middle of the intersection trying to move the people because he's got to get to work on restrictions on being paroled. But what about the rest of us? You know, I mean, yes, the First Amendment, yes, you can protest peacefully, but he was right. You got to have a lane. Like, what if an ambulance needed to get through? Are these people just going to sit there and stay the problem? Would the cops then have to move in and move them? I mean, there has to be some common ground on what peaceful protesting looks like. We broke it in May of 2020, right? I was like, I don't even think we have any idea now. But we need to get back to it and figure it out.
That's right. And we've gone from the violent of 2020 to the absolutely ridiculous. People gluing themselves to Starbucks counters.
I know, that was gross.
To masters artworks. I mean, the naked bike rides, like the list goes on.
Truckers blocking roads.
Yes, so much. Oh, wait, whoa.
It's because these people it's because they're trying to find religion, right? I mean, you look at every study, people on the left are less religious than the right. So that's what this is about. It's about finding
And they think
religion,
it's in the intersection?
burning cities down in 2020 in the name of Black Lives Matter, firebombing pregnancy centers in the name of abortion, and then doing this in the name of climate, right? It's about finding religion in the form of activism in politics rather than God.
But let's be very clear. I think we've seen First Amendment protests on both sides of the aisle get a little bit raucous.
We don't ride bikes naked on the right. Sorry, Richard.
Actually,
I've never done a naked bike ride. I've never glued myself to a Van Gogh painting.
Oh my gosh, but the other side of the couch is saying that they may have. I think it's just you and me, Kelly.
Wait, what?
I think it's just you and me.
They didn't
Rest
invade the
on our
Capitol,
bike.
just saying.